Did you know that India was once considered the wealthiest nation in the world? Yes, you heard it right. An intriguing tapestry of history wraps around this ancient land, revealing tales of abundant natural resources, prosperous trade, and advanced civilization. Let's take a step back in time, to a period when India was known as the Golden Bird. Imagine a landscape rich in diamonds, gold, spices, and precious textiles. A land where abundance was not the exception, but the norm. The subcontinent was endowed with vast reserves of precious metals and gems, its soils yielding bountiful harvests, and its dense forests home to a plenitude of exotic animals and plants. But the wealth of India was more than just material. It was a civilization that had mastered the art of city planning, sanitation, and architecture way before many others. The ancient cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, with their well-planned streets, impressive buildings, and sophisticated drainage systems, were a testament to the advanced civilization that thrived in this part of the world. Trade was the lifeblood of a vibrant hub of commerce that linked the East with the West. Merchant ships laden with spices, textiles, and precious stones set sail from India's bustling ports, their wares destined for distant lands. The trade routes of ancient India were like pulsating arteries, circulating wealth and fostering cultural exchange. India's wealth wasn't just in the tangible, but in the intangible. Its rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and religions added to the wealth of experience, making it a destination for scholars and seekers of knowledge. This was a land where science, arts, literature, and philosophy thrived, contributing to the intellectual wealth of the world. India's wealth was so renowned that it drew the attention of explorers from far and wide, including the famous Christopher Columbus. Little did he know that his quest for India's riches would lead to the discovery of a whole new world. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's revel in the golden age of India, a time when it was the wealthiest nation in the world. So stay tuned for more fascinating snippets from the annals of history. Christopher Columbus, lured by India's wealth, embarked on a journey to find a sea route to India, but ended up discovering America. In the late 15th century, the Italian explorer Christopher Columbus was consumed by the tales of India's boundless riches. He was so enamored with the idea of this distant land that he decided to do what no one else had done before: find a direct sea route from Europe to India. The traditional land routes were fraught with dangers and were controlled by the Ottomans, making them less than ideal. Fueled this ambition and supported by the Spanish monarchs, Columbus set sail in 1492 with 3 ships and a crew filled with dreams of opulence and prosperity. Here's where our story takes a rather humorous twist. Columbus, armed with a map and a compass, but unfortunately not with a reliable GPS, ended up about 10,000 kilometers off course. Instead of landing in India and being welcomed by the rich and the regal, Columbus found himself on the shores of a new land, surrounded by native tribes, and without a single sign of the gold or spices he was hoping to find. It was a classic case of, "You had one job, Columbus." But being the optimist that he was, Columbus didn't let this minor setback dampen his spirits. He instead decided to roll with it, and thus he declared his accidental discovery as the New World. Talk about making the best out of a wrong turn. Columbus returned to Spain with tales of this newfound land. And though he didn't bring back the promised gold or spices, he did bring something far more significant: the knowledge of a whole new continent, later to be known as America. So, in his search India's wealth, Columbus inadvertently changed the course of history by stumbling upon America. And that, my friends, is how one man's quest for riches ended up reshaping our understanding of the world. Isn't history full of surprises? Stay tuned for more. Unfortunately, India's prosperity didn't last forever. The British rule in the early 17th century began a period of decline for the once wealthy nation. It's like the old saying goes, all that glitters is not gold. In India's case, the glittering gold was about to be replaced by a dull, uncomfortable gray. The British, attracted by India's wealth, made it a colony and set up the East India Company. This wasn't your typical company, folks. It was a force to reckon with, a force that slowly but surely started to drain India of its riches. Picture this: a guest invited for tea, overstaying their welcome, and then, casually taking over the house. That's a bit like how the British East India Company operated. They exploited India's resources, from spices to textiles, and shipped them off to Britain. India, once an exporter of goods, became an importer of its own products, but at much higher prices. It's like buying your own stuff at a pawn shop after someone stole it from you. Not the best business model, right? The economic policies implemented by the British were no less damaging. They transformed India's economy to suit their own needs, shifting the focus from manufacturing to agriculture, primarily to supply raw materials for their industries back home. Imagine a talented artist being forced to only make pencils. That's how India's potential was stifled. The crippling land tax system left farmers impoverished, and famines became a common occurrence. It was a bleak time, and the once thriving nation was now struggling to survive. By the time the British left in 1947, India was no longer the golden bird it once was. The country that was once a beacon of wealth and prosperity had been reduced to a state of poverty. But as we'll see, India's story doesn't end there. The resilience and spirit of its people would soon set the stage for a remarkable comeback. But that's a tale for the next scene, so stay tuned for more. However, the story doesn't end there. India, with its indomitable spirit, started to rebuild and recover. After gaining independence in the mid-20th century, India embarked on a journey of economic revival, setting its sights on regaining its former glory. The nation an uphill task, having been left with a fragmented economy and an impoverished populace. Yet, the people of India, resolute in their resolve, didn't let these obstacles deter them. They began to rebuild, brick by brick, sector by sector. India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, championed the cause of industrialization. Large-scale public sector projects were initiated, laying the groundwork for a diversified economy. These early endeavors set the stage for growth in various sectors like technology, manufacturing, and services. Fast forward a few decades, and India has become a global powerhouse in the technology sector. From software services to IT consulting, India's tech companies have made their mark on the world stage. The country has also carved out a niche in the manufacturing sector, particularly in the automobile and pharmaceutical industries. And let's not forget the service sector. India's prowess in services, from healthcare to hospitality, has drawn international attention. The growth in these sectors has not only contributed to the economy, but also created jobs, lifted millions out of poverty, and improved living standards. India's economic resurgence hasn't been a walk in the park. It's been a journey of resilience, perseverance, and a firm belief in the potential of its people. The country's progress is a testament to the indomitable spirit of its citizens, their unyielding resolve to rise above challenges, and their relentless pursuit of progress. The country's story of recovery and growth is a powerful reminder that no setback is permanent, and with determination and hard work, any nation can rebuild and recover. Today, India is one of the fastest-growing economies in the world, proving the golden bird can indeed rise from the ashes. The spirit of India's resilience echoes through time, whispering tales of a nation that refused to be defined by its past, but rather chose to shape its own future. But the journey continues, and there are more stories to be told. Stay tuned for more. So, what can we glean from this journey through history? This trip back in time has taken us from the opulence of ancient India to the adventurous voyage of Christopher Columbus, through the decline under colonial rule, and finally to the remarkable resilience and recovery of a nation that was once one of the richest in the world. Let's retrace our steps. Ancient India was a treasure trove, a land so affluent that it lured explorers from across the globe, including the likes of Christopher Columbus. India's wealth was not just in gold, but in its rich culture, advanced knowledge systems, and innovative practices. Its affluence was its allure, its appeal so potent that Columbus set sail across the unknown, hoping to find a sea route to India. Instead, he stumbled upon a whole new continent, America. Talk about a happy accident. But as we know, time is a great leveler. The same wealth that attracted explorers and traders also drew in colonizers. The British rule in India, starting from the early 17th century, marked a period of decline. The wealth was drained and India's glory seemed to fade. But as they say, nothing lasts forever, not even the dark night. India's resilience, the spirit of bouncing, is as much a part of its story as its ancient wealth. the country shook off the shackles of colonial rule and embarked on a journey of recovery. It was no easy feat, but India's will to rise again proved more valuable than any treasure. The story of India is a testament to the fact that wealth, in all its forms, is transient. It can be amassed, lost, and regained. But what truly endures is the spirit of resilience, the refusal to be defeated, and the will to rise from the ashes. It's not about the fall, it's about the comeback. India's story serves as a reminder that wealth isn't permanent, but the spirit of resilience and the will to rise again are truly priceless. So stay tuned for more on this fascinating journey through history.